Good day and welcome to 5 Minutes Bible Stories, where we dissect, digest, and understand the Word of God. Judah leaves his brothers and goes down to stay with a man named Hira the Adullamite. There Judah meets the daughter of a Canaanite man named Shua. He marries her and makes love to her. She becomes pregnant and gives birth to a son who is named She conceives again and gives birth to a son and names him Onan. She gives birth to still another son and names him Shelah. Judah gets a wife for his firstborn. Her name is Tamar. But Judah's firstborn is wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord puts him to death. Tamar is a widow, young, childless, vulnerable. In that culture, a woman without a husband or sons has no security, no future, no protection. Then Judah says to Onan, "Sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to raise up offspring for your brother." This is the levirate marriage law. A man's brother must marry his widow and produce an heir to carry on the dead brother's name and inheritance. But Onan knows that the child will not be his. So whenever he sleeps with his brother's wife, he spills his semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother. What he does is wicked in the Lord's sight. So the Lord puts him to death also. If you want to see how God defends the exploited and forgotten, subscribe to this channel for more biblical stories of justice and redemption. Now Tamar has lost a husband. Both of Judah's sons are dead. Judah is afraid. He thinks Tamar is cursed. He fears his third son Shelah will also die if he marries her. Judah says to his daughter-in-law Tamar, "Live as a widow in your father's household until my son Shelah grows up." He is thinking perhaps he too will die like his brothers. So Tamar goes to live in her father's household. Judah is lying. He has no intention of giving Shelah to Tamar. He's protecting his youngest son by abandoning his daughter-in-law. Tamar waits. Years pass. Shelah grows up, but Judah does not give him to her as promised. She realizes she's been deceived, abandoned, denied justice. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, dies. When Judah has recovered from his grief, he goes up to Timnah to the men who are shearing his sheep. He goes with his friend Hira the Adullamite. When Tamar is told your father-in-law is on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep, she takes off her widow's clothes, covers herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sits down at the entrance to a name which is on the road to Timnah. She has seen that though Shelah has now grown up, she has not been given to him as his wife. Tamar makes a decision. If Judah will not give her justice through the law, she will take it herself. When Judah sees her, he thinks she is a prostitute, for she has covered her face. Not realizing that she is his daughter-in-law, he goes over to her by the roadside. "Come now, let me sleep with you." "And what will you give me to sleep with you?" she asks. "I'll send you a young goat from my flock," he says. "Will you give me something as a pledge until you send it?" She asks. "What pledge should I give you?" he asks. She answers, "Your seal and its cord and the staff in your hand." So he gives them to her and sleeps with her, and she becomes pregnant by him. After she leaves, she takes off her veil and puts on her widow's clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah sends the young goat by his friend the Adullamite in order to get his pledge back from the woman, but he does not find her. He asks the men who live there, "Where is the shrine prostitute who was beside the road at Enaim?" "There hasn't been any shrine prostitute here," they say. So he goes back to Judah and says, "I didn't find her." Besides, the men who live there said there hasn't been any shrine prostitute here. Then Judah says, "Let her keep what she has, or we will become a laughing stock. After all, I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah is told your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result she is now pregnant. Judah's response is immediate and harsh. "Bring her out and have her burned to death." As she is being brought out, she sends a message to her father-in-law. "I am pregnant by the man who owns these," she says. And she adds, "See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff these are." Tamar does not name Judah publicly. She gives him a chance to do the right thing, to acknowledge the truth. to admit his own guilt. She puts the evidence before him and waits. Judah recognizes them. He stops the execution. She is more righteous than I, he declares, since I wouldn't give her to my son Shelah, and he does not sleep with her again. Judah admits the truth publicly. Tamar was faithful to the law. She sought what was rightfully hers. He was the one who failed. He denied her justice. He broke his promise. He abandoned his responsibility. She had every right to an heir from his family. When the time comes for her to give birth, there are twin boys in her womb. As she is giving birth, one of them puts out his hand. So the midwife takes a scarlet thread and ties it on his wrist, saying, "This one came out first." But when he draws back his hand, his brother comes out. She says, "So this is how you have broken out." And he is named Perez. Then his brother, who has the scarlet thread on his wrist, comes out. He is named Zerah. Tamar gives birth to twins. She has secured the heir she was promised. She has obtained justice through unconventional means. Her actions were risky, dangerous. She could have been killed. But she was willing to risk everything for what was rightfully hers. The story seems scandalous. A daughter-in-law disguising herself and sleeping with her father-in-law. But look deeper. Tamar was protecting the family line. She was fighting for her rights under the law. She was taking action when the man responsible for her welfare failed her, and God honors her. How do we know? Look at her legacy. From Perez comes the line of David. From Perez comes Jesus Christ. Tamar is listed in the genealogy of Jesus in Matthew chapter 1. The Canaanite woman who dressed as a prostitute becomes an ancestor of the Messiah. This story reveals something profound about God's character. He sees injustice. He cares about the vulnerable. He honors those who fight for what is right even when their methods seem questionable. Tamar had every reason to give up. To husbands dead, a father-in-law who lied to her, years of waiting with no resolution. She was a foreigner, a woman, a widow. She had no power, no voice, no recourse, but she refused to accept injustice. She took matters into her own hands. She risked her life, and she won. Judah himself declares, "She is more righteous than I." He admits his failure publicly. He acknowledges that she was right to do what she did. He gave her no choice. More importantly, God vindicates her by including her in the messianic line. He could have brought Jesus through any lineage, but he chose to include Tamar, the woman who disguised herself as a prostitute, the woman who slept with her father-in-law, the woman who fought for justice when the system failed her. This is grace. This is redemption. This is God honoring courage and faithfulness even in messy circumstances. Tamar's story challenges us. When we face injustice, do we fight or do we give up? When people in power fail us, do we wait forever or do we act? When the system denies us what is rightfully ours, do we accept it or do we find another way? Tamar teaches us that sometimes righteousness requires risk. Sometimes justice requires unconventional action. Sometimes God honors bold faith even when it looks scandalous to others. What injustice are you facing? What has been denied to you that is rightfully yours? Who has failed to keep their promises to you? Don't give up. God sees. God cares. God honors those who fight for what is right. Share your story of fighting for justice in the comments. Subscribe for more biblical accounts of God defending the vulnerable and honoring the courageous. God bless you.